Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and in this installment of Let's Learn Dragon Ball FighterZ, I'm going to be talking about how to defend yourself. So, how to be on offense, that's kind of the easy part. Even at the very beginner level, just getting in, hitting buttons, and, just doing like whatever, that part makes sense enough. However, when you're the guy who has to block and defend yourself against all this stuff, that's when things get a little bit crazy and a little bit difficult and very flustering, to be sure. So first I'm going to be talking about your general mindset you need to be looking at, a couple situations, and the importance of the deflect mechanic, because this is utterly it's super key. I can't really say more than that. It's ultra key to defense, and how to be able to remove yourself from the defensive position and gain some ground back. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So a very important part of defense is the mental state, and the mental state just means you gotta stay clear, you gotta stay calm. It is okay to just block. It's not the end of the world, because the opposite of you blocking is getting hit. So it is okay to just block. So in this whole sequence right here, Cell's doing a bit of a block string. It is okay to just block that. It is not a bad thing. If you don't know what to do, blocking is fine, and just make sure you're always crouch blocking unless you see an overhead move, like a jump or the command overhead, and stand block that to be sure. But it is okay to just wait out the storm sometimes. If you just smash, sometimes you're going to get hit. So like in this exact situation here, so we'll turn on my command history so we can see here. So I'm just going to mash light now. And when you know it, I got smacked out of it. Because there was a bit of a gap between the final hit and the Kamehameha, but it wasn't really enough of a gap for me to do anything about it. So in that gap, I just get smacked. So I can't just be hitting buttons. Now, it is not to say it is not a bad idea to hit buttons. It's just got to know when it's the right idea. There's going to be, and I can't tell you every single place where it's going to be okay, because there's too many possibilities between, certain moves, certain specials, certain assists, and all that. It's just, this will come in time. But the main point I'm trying to say here is, if you're just smashing buttons while you're trying to hope to get like a hit in, like you're just going to get crushed. Like, it is almost never going to work out in your favor. Now, this is where the importance of the deflect comes in. So at the very least, we can do something like this. So say we know that Kamehameha is coming for sure. Well, then at the very least we can deflect it. The deflect does start on the first frame, meaning as soon as you hit that button, so as soon as you hit back and your special button, it is active right away. There's no startup. It goes the second it starts. So let's talk more about deflect now, actually. Now, to talk about the deflect a little more directly. So once again, just back and your key blast button there, also known as S. So how it works is this. So I have it set to minimum bar here as well, just so you can see. But any physical attack, it will push away, and you'll gain bar while doing it as well. So it'll push it away. Now, some moves, not all, but some moves that are physical moves that are pushed away are slow enough to be caught on block or on punish by some of the faster supers or specials in the game. So Cell's overhead isn't one of them, but just to give you an idea here, that some of these can be even true punishes. Now, if it's a more standard, say like a Kamehameha, when you deflect, you will not push them back. However, you will still gain that increased bar. So it is better than just actively blocking if you know for a fact it's going to come, and unless you recover quicker than if you were blocking. Now, let's set up here. I'm just going to do a very basic Cell block string example. In fact, we're just going to do the same one we did earlier. I'm going to show you the power of deflecting through the Kamehameha, and then your options from that versus just blocking it. And when you know, we got a punish on that one. That is a proper punish. So the dummy set the auto block here. So there is no way he could have blocked that. So with the reflect in mind, we now took a situation where we were not allowed to mash buttons to get through, and otherwise we just would have had to have blocked. We turn that now into flipping the table on our foe, and we use that deflect to turn that into a true punish situation, because with deflect we recover much faster than blocking, so we can now deal with the foe trying to do that kind of stuff in our face. So this is one example of the power of deflect. Now, this isn't to say that the deflect mechanic is infallible, because it sure isn't. So say same situation, I'm just going to fish, just gonna mash now my deflect and fish for my Kamehameha punish. Let's see what happens. Oh, I just got hit while I was standing, because you have to, stand to be able to do it. It won't accept a down back input at all. So if you're just mashing that deflect, you're gonna get hit by lows, so that's one thing to watch out for. Now the second thing, so say, okay, now I know to watch out for the low. So now I'm just going to try to mash after I see that low. So after I see low, I know I'm in the clear, so we'll go for there. Oh, he did something else. And I just got killed. So that's not going to work. So just to show you, it's not infallible by a stretch. That's two examples here where the deflect's super powerful and let you get punches where regular blocking will not. But it is not airtight. So in the first example, you got to make sure you're watching them toes because it'll only accept the back input for it. So if you're getting hit by a low while it's happening, you will get hit low. And in the second example, he called the assist and then crossed me up. And since I was blocking the wrong way, I get hit. So that is not going to work out either. So it is not infallible, but it is very strong. So next up, I want to show you there's a bit more to defense than just, blocking and maybe hitting reflect as well, because it also involves some critical judgment. So I have Android 16 set up to a block string here. After the blast right there, it is still his turn. He has advantage on block. So if I try to hit buttons through this, I'm just going to get smacked. Now, you ask, well, can you deflect it? And the answer is yes, you can. You can absolutely deflect it and then punish him on the deflect. However, there's more to it than that, and I'll show you in this little setup right here. So now, Android 16, he is not dumb. He's going to figure out that we're going to try to deflect through everything. And, if deflect works, why not do anything else, right? So we're going to do the same setup here to find out what happens. Oh, it's time to deflect. Get it ready. Oh, that happened. So, deflect is very much not a be-all, end-all because it cannot beat the Dragon Rush. So, if an enemy knows for a fact you're going to try to deflect through one of their attack strings, they can just stop what they're doing and go for the Dragon Rush, and guaranteed they have you dead to rights. You're beaten for sure. So, now let's look at it this way. So, we have that set up. If we know we block, we're going to lose our turn. He gets to keep going. However, there's the threat that if we just deflect, he's just going to stop and go for the Dragon Rush. So how do we beat that then? And there's a way to it. So this is specific to this scenario, but I just want to open your mind up to the possibilities. So in this specific scenario, the answer is simply jump, because jumping will beat both of these options. As you see here, so now you've taken the initiative, and it is now basically your turn. He gave up his turn, it is now your turn. So same example here with the Dragon Rush. So in this scenario, you didn't steal the turn necessarily, but at least you got out of dodge, You got a little bit of breathing room, and you're no longer under pressure. So sometimes the answer is simply jump. So there's a lot of variables here, and I'm just trying to open up your mind to some of these possibilities. So now, what about what happens when you're in the corner? So a lot of that still applies what I just said, make sure you block, deflect when you can, and escape when you can. But let's say, worst case scenario, you just got knocked down. Got old nasty man Nappa, when you just punt to the side man, he's attacking us right away. Now in this scenario too, just so you know, I'm going to try to mash through this. And I'll just turn on my information so you can see it. Mashing as hard as I can here when this is going to happen. And it's too airtight. There's no way you're going to be able to knock him out of it. But we're not completely helpless here, and this has to do with some of our settings here. So we have our recoveries. We have back, up, in place. So what that means is this. So he's going to knock us down again here, and I'm just going to hold down. So I stayed down long enough in that specific scenario that I can see his first attack with. And on my wake up, as you can see right there, I know he's attacking now. I know for a fact he's attacking. So I can see his attacks, and I can deflect them on my wake up. If you hold down and you deflect, you will basically, if they attack, you'll beat them pretty much 9 times out of 10, depending on the slowness of attack, or if it hits you and you're too late in your deflect, then it'll hit your recovery or your deflect. But in a situation where you know for a fact the attack is coming, if you hold down and do your delayed recovery and then wake up with deflect, you'll deflect their attack. So mindless offense in that aspect will never ever be rewarded, as you can always hold down and do that. Now let's take this exact same situation here with Nappa, and we're going to flip the tables, because not only do we have the down tech, and the first techs you saw before were the back tech, which, wasn't working out so good for us, but we also have an up tech. So now I'm just holding up, and I get up a little bit higher, so I still got hit. But let's think of it this way. If I recover now I'm in the air, can't I just dash out?
Let's play a little game.
So let's try that out. Looks like I can dash out, so one more time, let's just give that a shot.
Let's play a little game.
Oh hey, wouldn't you know it? So, well, I still got hit there, but you get the idea. You're allowed to dash out if you air recover. So the enemy also has to keep that in mind. So you are nowhere near defenseless at all after you are knocked down in the corner. You have multiple ways to get up. So the back get up is basically the default setting. You have to manually hold up or hold down for either the up tech or the delayed wake up. But these are two very important aspects of how to defend yourself when you're knocked down and go from there. So if the enemy knows you're going to down tech and hold down and then like wake up with reflect, then they have to drag and dash you or wait for the reflect to whiff to punish it. And if they know you're going to up tech and try to dash out, they have to meet you in the air. So there is no for sure setup that just has you dead to rights when you're on the ground. They have to guess just as much as you do. Now another aspect here that just works when just regular old blocking is involved is punishment. So enemy is set to block here. And you see here, I just punish his raw standing heavy attack. So this is a bit character specific. It definitely favors people with longer arms, like people like Android 16. So once again, Nappa, standing heavy, I get to punish it. Now, if we take in someone who's got, maybe not as long arms, like a Blue Vegeta here, he doesn't get the reach in time. So that is a bit character specific, and his mediums are too slow, so it won't work. So you gotta find a happy medium here. So characters with longer jabs are definitely a little more preferable when it comes to punishing things, because generally speaking, most people's standing heavy attacks are punishable by jab. However, some people like Nappa push you out a little bit, and the people get pushed out who have stubby little limbs are not going to be as favorable as the people who got nice long limbs who can get that punished a lot easier. So, but keep in mind here, generally when it comes to defense, as most people are when they're going to do whatever block string, they're usually going to end in some sort of heavy just because want to hit all the buttons, because otherwise in their mindset they're giving up their turn. And don't get me wrong, a heavy with a proper assist is still very safe on block. But without that proper assist, and it's just let it sit there, as long as you got a character who has long enough jab to take care of business, they will get a punish. So that's what I have to say about defending yourself currently. So just to reiterate a couple points here, first off, don't be scared to block. Blocking is the cornerstone of all defense. If you can't block, you can't do the rest of it. And when you're blocking, just make sure, stay calm. The second you freak out, the second you think you have to mash deflect, the second you think you have to try to jump out, that's when it's all going to fall apart. As long as you can keep calm while blocking, that's more important than the rest of the stuff. As long as you can just stay cool while blocking, it is the single most important thing to your defense. Now, defense, winning games, you have to hit people, sure, but to be able to get the hit people, you have to be able to weather the storm, and that's what blocking gets you. Now, that said, too, deflect's super important. And I think as the game evolves, at least as of the time of this recording, I think the game will evolve to a point where the game is going to be about trying to bait people's deflects, having them whiff, and trying to punish them, because deflect is such a strong defensive tool. It's a much stronger defensive tool than many fighting games, especially since it's universal, it starts on frame 1, and doesn't cost you any bar. It's an incredibly, incredibly, incredibly powerful tool. But that said, once again, just keep cool under pressure. That's the single most important thing. I really got to harp on it, because without that, nothing else works. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.